Hello friends, it's Greg here again on the Blue Feather Ephemera channel. I have an eBay store by the same name where I sell vintage magazine print advertising. Today, we're going to look at week 3 sales for the fourth quarter of 2025. I'm going to show you all 24 of the great print advertisements that sold. And then I'm going to pull back the curtain and I'll take you inside the store. I've set up some comparisons. We're going to look at these sales in the context of other recent sales and sales compared to last year. Let's get started. In recent videos, I've organized the ads in the order that they sold. That's how I showed them. Today, let's go by the order of price from lowest to highest. First of all, from a 1938 yachting magazine. This is a company called Van Riper, and they made scale models of ships. They were located in Vineyard Haven, Massachusetts, and they show two of their ships in this picture, the Nantucket Lightship and also the Aquitania. And I sold this ad for $7.77. From the very same magazine comes another small ad, this one from Mathis Yacht Building Company of Camden, New Jersey. And it says in the detail that they build yachts of all sizes. I sold this one also for $7.77. This ad has similarities. It's from Yachting Magazine, but not Yachting Magazine 1938. It's a shipbuilding company, but it's not Mathis Shipbuilding, it's Camden Shipbuilding, and it's not Camden, New Jersey, it's Camden, Maine. That's the ad that we're looking at here. Another small ad from Yachting Magazine. I sold this one also for $7.77. This is the last ad to show you for $7.77. This is a pretty neat one. It's another small ad, and it's called Copycats. And what you see here are cast iron andirons for your fireplace, and it says that these andirons have green glass eyes that your fire shines through. Now, it's sort of a novelty looking thing here, but I'm sure if they weigh 22 pounds, they are functional andirons. They're the real deal. And these were made by Tennessee Chromium Plating Company. I sold this for $7.77. This is a nice ad from 1965, House Beautiful, and it shows a stately grandfather clock made by the Gravely Furniture Company of Ridgeway, Virginia. I like the wording that they used in the ad here. It says this clock is a gracious guardian of each golden hour. I sold this for $9.77. From 1942, this ad ran in Sunset magazine. It shows the Imperial Glass Company candlewick pattern, and this is a beverage set. It says it consists of an 80-ounce pitcher and 10 and 12-ounce tumblers. The company located in Bel Air in Ohio. I sold this ad for $9.77. This ad from 1951 ran in Motor Trend magazine. The product, called Vertex, is a magneto with automatic advance. In the details of the ad, it says that this is a power package combining the functions of battery, distributor, coil, and condenser in a single unit. It's recommended by several of the racing greats. And it shows a West Coast distributor in Los Angeles and an East Coast distributor in Wayne, Pennsylvania. I sold this ad for $11.77. Next up is not an ad, it's non-advertising magazine content. This from Ideals Magazine, 1959. And in the detail, you're looking at a Bible verse. This one is 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 9. It says, "Eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him." And I sold this for $12.77. Next, we're going back to that 1938 yachting magazine, and this advertiser is a boatyard called Harrishoff. It's located in Bristol, Rhode Island, and I was relying again on a Google Assistant for help with the pronunciation, but this advertisement mentions something interesting at the top of the page. It says damage to our plant caused by the recent tidal wave and hurricane is well on the way to repair. And so apparently far up the New England coast in the mid to latter part of 1938, there was a pretty devastating weather event that I saw mentioned repeatedly throughout this magazine. And so it took me longer to process this because I was reading all about that catastrophe. This ad sold for $12.77. I love ads like this one because they're packed with information. From 1927 Harper's Magazine, this half-page ad tells you about the fifth cruise around the world by the SS Resolute. In the details, it says this is the voyage of your dreams, and it shows this fellow gazing into the crystal ball here. And the voyage departs January 7th, 1928, sailing eastward from New York. On down in the text, it says that the cruise will visit 30 countries, 63 cities, and you'll travel 37,849 miles on land and sea. It also mentions Borneo and French Somaliland, Mediterranean, Holy Land, Egypt, East Africa, India, China, and Japan in cherry blossom time. On down in the listing, it says rates including shore excursions run from $2,000 upward. Now, I'm the curious type, so I ran that through a calculator adjusted for inflation. That would be a little bit over $36,000 for this 140-day tour by ship. And I sold this ad for $13.77. At this point, it doesn't surprise me when I sell any kind of ad because I know there's a customer out there for just about everything. However, I've been surprised by how many of these Brooks Brothers ads that I've sold over the past couple of years. I would say that I've sold 4 or more, and basically they're just a clothing store. But in the details of this ad from 1956, they're advertising their own proprietary line of shirts. In the details, at the top, you see their own button-down polo collar shirt. The next one down with the rounded collar tabs is a golf collar shirt. And the one below that is the plain collar tennis shirt. I sold this ad for $13.77. Here was a fun ad for me to see from 1968. This ran in American Girl magazine. And the camera is a Kodak 104 Instamatic camera with flash. And in the details of this ad, it shows first the film cartridge here. And I can't make out what's written on the cartridge. It seems like it's bigger than a 110 cartridge, but I don't remember 35 millimeter film being made into a cartridge like that. So I'm not sure what that is. But there she's got the flash cube in her hand. And there she's taking a picture with the flash cube. And in the ad, it says Kodak Instamatic color outfits from less than $20. Now, flash cubes, I remember those from my early childhood in the 1970s. I don't think flash cubes were even a thing after 1980. So that's a little nostalgia hit for me. I sold this ad for $13.77. This is another one of those ads that threatens to hijack the whole video. And I did a little bit of research because I was curious to know if this facility is still in operation. Turns out it is, but we'll just kind of scratch the surface of it a little bit. The advertiser is called Stern Roger. They are an engineering firm and design firm that designed and built this beryllium ore processing facility for a company called Brush Wellman. I think by 1970 it was known as brush beryllium, and the company has changed names over the years, and then they were acquired by a company called Materion, and I'm familiar with that because it's a publicly traded company and I follow information about their stock. But this plant, it says it's located near Delta, Utah. And like I said, it's still there. They call it now the Spore Mountain Facility, Spore spelled SPOR, Spore Mountain Facility. They're the only beryllium ore processing plant in the U.S., and they supply the only beryllium refining operation in the country that's located in Ohio. Beryllium is really cool. It's stronger than steel, it's lighter than aluminum. It has all kinds of properties that are useful in especially aerospace industry, also in medical applications. It says that beryllium is nearly transparent to X-rays, and yet in nuclear reactors, it has some shielding properties that are useful. All kinds of fun stuff. I could go on and on, but this is a really fun ad to see. I sold it for $14.77. This is a half-page advertisement that ran in the Quartermaster Review 1944, and in this ad, you see a reference to the military. It says McCormick flavoring products and McCormick tea favorites here and over there, and that's a reference to the fighting overseas. I sold this ad for $14.77. This ad was interesting to me for a couple of reasons. This came from the Louisville Courier-Journal newspaper's magazine formatted Sunday supplement, and this one from 1976 commemorates the 75th anniversary of the Coca-Cola Company. And of course, Coca-Cola had plants in Kentucky just like they did everywhere else, but this Courier-Journal, they recruited advertisers from various aspects of the business, and Brockway Glass was one of those. In this ad, Brockway Glass said that they're proud to supply Coca-Cola, and it says in the detail of the ad, for 75 years, Coca-Cola has been refreshing the people of Kentucky, that land of the Derby, Daniel Boone tobacco, caves, birthplace of Lincoln, and so many other interesting and historical things. So as a Kentucky resident, I thought that was cool. Another thing about that, I learned through just a little quick research that Brockway Glass, the plant in Brockway, Pennsylvania, I actually saw about 6 years ago when I was traveling, road tripping up through Pennsylvania. Actually, I've told you before, I got my start on eBay with ceramics and vintage ceramics and glass, and that's what I was doing up in Pennsylvania at the time as I was sourcing for eBay on the road and kind of combining that with a little vacation trip at the same time. Long story short, this company, Brockway Glass in Brockway, Pennsylvania, was still in operation, and I just checked and it still is. The company has been acquired by Owens, Illinois, and they have a subsidiary called Owens Brockway, and that plant still runs, and this ad sold for $14.77. The sale of this ad has a little bit of a story. I'll make it quick. The advertiser is Land Rover. This ran in True Magazine, 1962. The format of that magazine is about 8.5 by 11. This ad is 2/3 of a full page, so it measures about 5.5 inches by 11. I was contacted by a customer who asked for a discount, and I sent an offer $2 off. Typically I don't, but I did. Then the customer came back and said, "Is this the best price that you can offer?" And I said, "This is the best single item price discount that I'll be able to offer at least through the end of the year." And I never heard anything back for about 6 or 8 days. The offer had expired. The same customer came along and bought the ad for full price, so I got $14.77 for it. This ad comes from Argosy Magazine, 1955, and the product is a Browning double automatic shotguns, and they show 3 models on the page, and we'll take a closer look at that in a moment. I want you to see that I put Belgium in the title of the listing because it says that these guns are made in Belgium, but the company is based in St. Louis, Missouri. That's also in the advertisement here. When you zoom in, it shows a double barrel shotgun here. The automatic 5 is an automatic or semi-automatic shotgun with a 5-shot capacity. This one called superposed, down in the parentheses it says over under, and over and under is what I always called shotguns made like that. This ad sold for $16.77, and in case you're wondering, this is the 17th ad. We've got 7 more to go, and all of them are priced $16.77 and above. There's some great ads coming up. This 1969 ad combines Coca-Cola and McDonald's in one advertisement. This ran in Fortune magazine, and in the details of the ad here, you see that at McDonald's, when you order Coca-Cola, you get Coca-Cola. Now, I've talked about it on the channel before, but from the 1930s and 40s, at least up through the 1970s, Coca-Cola kind of had a chip on their shoulder because every cola product was referred to as Coke, and if you were at a restaurant and ordered a Coke, you might get Coca-Cola, you might get Pepsi, or you might get Royal Crown Cola or some other kind of cola. And so Coca-Cola they wanted everybody to know that Coke means Coke or Coca-Cola, and no other product called a cola is a Coke if they don't make it. And so I sold this ad for $16.77. This 1952 advertisement is from Look magazine, and that's the reason I didn't have a higher price on it. Look is a more common magazine. Their circulation was much greater, and so there's a lot of copies of this ad out there. I could only put $16.77 on it, and even so, it still took about 3 years for it to sell. This ad is for Necco, spelled Necco. That stands for New England Candy Company, and the acronym is pronounced Necco. And it's got that beautiful mid-century color palette that I love, $16.77. This is the second Imperial Glass Corporation ad that I'm showing in this video. The first one I showed you was $9.77 for a partial page. It was also earlier than this one here. This is Imperial Glass Corporation. It's the same pattern, the candle wick pattern. However, you can see on this that it's hand cut and finished with a valley lily pattern in addition to the beaded edges and stems. So you could start an interesting conversation with a collector about whether or not this is depression glass. It can be considered depression glass, but it's more often considered elegant glass because it is hand finished and it incorporates extra design features, so on and so forth. I don't mean to bore you with it, but this valley lily pattern you can see is hand cut into the glass, and it makes it a very pretty pattern. I started selling on eBay as a mid-century glass and ceramics seller. I've handled quite a bit of this stuff, and it really is nice glass. I sold this ad for $16.77. This is a 1936 ad for the Buick Roadmaster, the 1937 model. We've talked on the channel about having both of those dates there, the publication date 1936 and the product year 37 for the Buick Roadmaster. Sometimes you'll see that events advertised ahead of time will have like an end of the year magazine publication date, but the event will actually be held in the following year. And I feel like it's important to have both of those in there. I'm not sure this customer would have found this ad if I didn't have 37 Buick in there, because we shared messages and he explained to me that he's restoring a 1937 Buick Roadmaster. He hopes to display this ad along with the car when the car is finished. And I sold this ad for $16.89. That was 10% off of $18.77. Next up, we've got this incredible ad from 1943. It's for the movie called Stormy Weather, and it appeared in Movie Life magazine. The star of the show is Lena Horne, and if you are familiar with her at all, you know why she was the star of the movie. Absolutely beautiful lady with an incredible voice, and the title song from the movie Stormy Weather, you can find that on YouTube. If you're not familiar with it, then do yourself a treat and look that up. In the movie, she had co-stars Bill Robinson and Cab Calloway and his band were in the movie. Catherine Dunham and her troupe, Fats Waller and Nicholas Brothers, and more. And it's a movie directed by Andrew Stone. In the bottom corner, it says the movie is a sensational cavalcade of rhythm from ragtime to swing. It's a really, really fun movie. I highly recommend it. I sold this ad for $21.77. It didn't surprise me that this ad sold, but it did surprise me when it sold. This ad actually sold within just 24 hours of listing, and it's an ad for Bloomingdale's department store. They're advertising Ralph Lauren Polo Country Fashions, and this advertising is actually an 8-page section from Classic Magazine 1977. And all throughout this ad, or this advertising section, it's all about fashionable attire, sports cars, and horses. And it looks like it's shot on an English country manor, and probably in the fall of the year, according to the type of clothing these folks are wearing. But you saw a Jaguar in the picture. Here's a Triumph TR7. There's an MG or MGB. I can't tell the difference, but these beautiful sports cars in the ad. I really loved seeing advertising like this. This 8-page section was really fun to list and sell. And again, I got $28.77 for it. This is the last ad we have to look at. This is the highest price I achieved for an ad during this week, $34.77. This came from the Quartermaster Review, 1943. It's a Coca-Cola ad, and it says an Army general in Africa is reminiscing about good times with Coca-Cola. And he says, I'm writing home about how I wish I could go down to the corner for a Coke with the gang. And in the text down at the bottom, it says that Coca-Cola is associated with happy moments. It's a chummy drink that people like right out of the bottle. And yes, sirree, the only thing like Coca-Cola is Coca-Cola itself. So like I mentioned earlier in the video, it's trying to differentiate itself from other colas. One more thing, in the when it mentions Africa, you see the pyramids in the background here. So I thought I'd point that out. Again, I sold this for $34.77. It went to Canada. This is the third video in the fourth quarter series, and I'm showing you every one of the sales, and I'm showing you all of the sales data, every number from my store from the first week of the fourth quarter of 2025 all the way through the end of the year. I'm not holding anything back. I want to assure you that you're seeing every bit of it. We're looking at the numbers in the same way every week. And first of all, I'm going to show you what you see here, the weekly totals. Then we're going to compare the current week to the previous week. That'll be week 3 compared to 2. And then we're going to look at the current week compared to the same week of last year. And then we're going to look at quarter to date, which in this video compiles 3 weeks of data. And we're going to compare that 3 weeks to the same period of time back in 2024. So we'll look at the first 3 weeks of the fourth quarter of 2024. So let's get started. I'm going to temper my exuberance here just a little bit, and I'm going to call these sales a pretty good week. Now, 6 months ago, this would have been a record-setting week, but in terms of store trajectory, I'm always wanting to set new highs, and I believe that that's taking place. I'm very happy with it. Gross sales of 502. The sales volume was 24 ads, and that average sales price at $20.95 is well above my store average, I believe. The net sales, remember, in that $256, there's about $36 of packing materials that are not accounted for. So my net for this week was actually about $220. This is the data for the third week compared to the second week. And to accomplish that, what I did is I dropped into the bordered boxes last week's sales data. You can see sales were down considerably, but here's the thing. Last week, as far as volume and gross sales, was a record-setting week. That was my highest numbers ever for this store. Now you can see this week volume is down by 18 ads, but the average sales price is up just a little bit. Now take into account, in last week's video, I showed you that one collector bought 12 ads, another collector bought 5, and I had 2 more doubles that sold. And so altogether, that volume is accounted for by just 4 purchases. Now, in this video that we looked at, I only had one multiple sell, and it was only 2 ads. That was the Imperial Glass. That accounts for a large chunk of the difference between the 2 weeks. To me, a graphic like this is encouraging because in the last one, we could be depressed by the fact that the volume was down week over week by 18 ads. But this shows that the week 3 of the fourth quarter of 2025 compared to the same week of last year is actually double what we did last year. And so you can see there that gross sales and volume are double what they were during the same week of last year. This report compiles all of the data for the first 3 weeks of the fourth quarter of 2025. So what we've just completed here is 3 weeks where my total sales averaged more than $600 gross revenue, and the quantity sold averages more than 30 ads per week. For me, for my store, that's phenomenal, because if you've followed my store and these videos at all, you know that somewhere between, let's say 16 and 20 is a typical week. So this has been a very good start to the fourth quarter. Average sales price is also very good. And that means probably 2 things. First of all, it means that I'm sourcing a little bit better. I'm getting a little bit more rare ads that I can put a better price on. And also it means that customers are willing to spend a little bit more as well. Net sales, when you take out the materials cost for shipping, my net sales are averaging almost $300 per week, and that's very good. As we go through this fourth quarter analysis, the more valuable the data is going to be, because we'll have a bigger sample of data to look at. But for right now, the first 3 weeks of this fourth quarter of 2025 shows that my gross revenue is over $1,800, and that's far more than double what it was for the same period back during the fourth quarter of 2024, the first 3 weeks of that quarter. Now, sales volume has doubled, almost exactly doubled, but my average sales price is up almost $1.50, and that means that my gross revenue is more than double, and also my net revenue is more than double as well. If you take out roughly about $130 of shipping materials there, I'm still over $800 of net revenue for the first 3 weeks of the fourth quarter of 2025. That's pretty exciting. Well, friends, that's all for today. I appreciate you watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the content, and I'd love it if you leave a comment, even if it's just a friendly hello. Bye for now.